All right, let's talk about something that for a lot of small business owners always seems to find its way to the bottom of that never-ending to-do list: compliance training. It feels like a headache for the corporate giants, right? But what if I told you it's actually one of the most important shields you can have for your business, no matter the size? Let's get into it.
So let's just tackle the big question head on, the one that's probably on your mind right now. You're juggling sales, marketing, payroll, maybe even unclogging the toilet. Is compliance really your problem too? It is so easy to think of this as a concern for the Fortune 500, not for the entrepreneur who's just trying to make it to next quarter.
But here's the reality, and it's a stark one. When it comes to risk, size just doesn't matter. Whether you've got 10,000 employees or just 10, you are facing the exact same kinds of expectations from regulators, from your clients, and from your customers. The rulebook is pretty much the same for everyone.
So yeah, let's officially put that myth to bed. The idea that you can just ignore compliance until you're big enough is, well, it's dangerous. Because the law, it really doesn't care how many people are on your payroll.
So why doesn't size get you a pass? Well, for one, regulatory agencies aren't in the business of giving out hall passes to small companies. And a lot of those critical workplace laws, they kick in when you have as few as 5, maybe 10 employees. Plus, if you're trying to land that big, game-changing client, you can bet they're going to demand you meet their compliance standards. And maybe most importantly, your customers just expect you to do the right thing, period.
This is where it gets really serious, because ignoring this stuff isn't just a little risky, it can be absolutely devastating. Let's look at the real, cold, hard cost of just hoping for the best.
Just look at this number. Studies show that the cost of cleaning up a compliance failure is usually 2 to 3 times higher than what it would have cost to just have a good training program in the first place. I mean, it's a no-brainer. Prevention is just so much cheaper than the cure.
And those cleanup costs? We're talking about fines and legal fees that can easily spiral into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Think about one little data breach or one safety violation. For a small business, a penalty like that isn't just a bad quarter. It can be a knockout blow.
But this is the most sobering number of all: 60%. That's how many small to medium businesses are forced to shut down permanently within just 6 months of a major data breach. It's not a setback they recover from, it's game over. That's just how high the stakes are.
So it really all boils down to this. Thinking you can get away with skipping compliance training isn't a savvy business move to save money, it's a gamble. You are literally gambling with everything you've worked so hard to build. Proactive training, on the other hand, that's your insurance policy. It's the smart, responsible investment that protects you from total disaster.
Okay, so you're convinced, but now you're probably thinking, great, where on earth do I even begin? The good news is you don't have to boil the ocean. Let's break it down into a simple, manageable checklist of the absolute must-haves for any SME.
You can think of the essentials in a couple of buckets. First, you've got your digital risks. That's all your data protection and cybersecurity stuff. Then, you've got your people risks, things like harassment, diversity, and workplace safety. And holding it all together is a strong foundation of ethics, plus any of those quirky, specific rules that only apply to your industry.
Now, here's where I want us to completely reframe the conversation. Let's stop looking at compliance as this boring, defensive chore you have to do. Let's start looking at it for what it can be, a powerful, competitive advantage.
Because the payoff is huge. When you build a true compliance culture, you build a rock-solid reputation. Customers trust you more. Bigger companies want to partner with you. You actually become more efficient because you're preventing those costly mistakes. And you know what else? You become a magnet for the best talent. Because great people want to work for great companies that do things the right way.
All right, so the million-dollar question. How do I actually do this without a giant budget or a whole team of lawyers? It's a fair question. So let's get super practical with some real-world steps any small business can start taking right now.
It's really a simple 5-step process. First, just figure out your biggest risks. Then, leverage all the incredible free guides and low-cost courses out there. Now, here's the most important part. Leadership has to be involved. You have to lead by example. From there, just make it a regular thing, not a one-and-done lecture. And finally, track your progress so you can see what's working.
When it's all said and done, that's what we're building here. Good training gives your business 2 critical things, a shield and a compass. The shield is what protects you from all those expensive, avoidable disasters we talked about. And the compass? Well, that's what guides your whole team to make the right call day in and day out.
So I'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. When you look at your own company, ask yourself honestly, Is it insured by proactive training, or is it sitting at a casino table taking a massive gamble on its future? Because right now, it's one or the other. The choice is yours.